I know, it's Wednesday, not Tuesday. More on that in a minute, but I'm still coming to you from the super cool storage unit with all the junk in it to show you what sold on eBay this past week. Stuff that you can be on the lookout for at thrift stores and garage sales. Stuff that you can usually pick up pretty cheap. Check it out. I feel like if there was a reselling for dummies or a reseller guidebook, this would be the first chapter. These Texas Instruments scientific calculators. You can get them pretty cheap and they sell really quick. This is a TI 84 Plus. I paid $2 for it at a garage sale just this past week. Listed it and it sold overnight for 52 bucks. I am extremely happy to see this thing go. I've had it forever and it's been taking up a lot of room. I actually picked this Florida Gators vintage jacket up when I was in Florida last year, so I've had it like a year. I believe I paid $5 for it from a garage sale and it finally sold for 60. The only thing I can think of that made it take so long to sell was that it's an odd brand. It's called Extreme Fans, but still definitely a very cool jacket in excellent condition. All right, so here's a new one for me. I sold a lacrosse stick, and I know nothing about lacrosse, but I saw this sitting at a thrift store, decided to look it up. It's a Ladies Dynasty Warp. I think it's carbon fiber lacrosse stick. I only wanted $2 for it. Comps look good. Had a pretty bad sell-through rate, but I still thought it was worth picking up. Paid the $2 for it, and after about a month, it sold for $69. So for the past 2 weeks, I've shown you guys some golf clubs that I've sold that my stepdad actually picked up from a garage sale for 50 bucks. And I've definitely made my money back several times over. As a matter of fact, you guys saw the Medicus driver last week that sold for 65 bucks. So I'm already in the profit. And this is the last set to sell. This is a set of Nike Slingshot irons, 7 through pitch and wedge. So not even a complete set. And they sold after a couple of weeks for 90 bucks. So I sold this teapot, and honestly, I wasn't even going to buy this thing. It was sitting at a garage sale at like 11 o'clock. Lady saw me looking at it. She said, "You can have that thing for $2." She had it marked for 10. That was kind of too good of a deal to pass up. It's Disney, it's Fantasia. I knew it would sell eventually. Well, I listed it for $79, and that garage sale was last year, so it's taken a while to sell, but it finally sold for full price, 79 bucks. Actually going to Japan, I believe. Buyers all in like 150 bucks. And now I got to ship this fragile thing. So I sold a Nintendo 64. I actually found this at a garage sale for only 10 bucks. And honestly, the console was really dirty. I didn't expect it to work, but it actually worked really well. Wiped it down, cleaned it off, blew out the slots. Worked really well. Got a controller, got the cords and everything. I actually did have to order the AV cables for it, but I just ordered some cheap ones off of eBay. So I've got about $14 into this and it sold for 80. Here's an N64 game that also sold from that $10 bundle. This is Super Mario 64 and it sold in like 2 days for 43 bucks. So I kind of feel like an idiot right now. I sold these 3 cars, and I'll put a picture of them up here because I don't want to drop them again. They actually sold for $145. They were in a box of old toys that I bought from a garage sale. Lady had to fill a bag for $3. Well, I filled up a box for $6. And these 3 cars were in there. Didn't know what they were, so I Google lensed them and come to find out they're Aurora slot cars from like the 50s or 60s. We've got some pretty good value. Like I said, they sold for $145 in 2 days. As I was bringing them in here to ship, I actually dropped the little green Mercedes and the windshield broke off. So now what do? I sent the buyer a message, offered a discount or to cancel and refund his money. That kind of hurts, to be honest with you, but I haven't got a message back yet. So leave me a comment down below and leave your guess. What do you think he's going to do? Is he going to take a discount? Am I going to have to cancel the whole thing and refund him? Let me know. I'll let you know at the end of the video. All right, so why am I giving you a what sold video on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday? I promise it's not because I'm lazy or that I overslept. It's actually because my schedule is about to change. It's almost summertime. Kids are going to be out of school soon. We've got a ton of vacations planned. The kids have a bunch of activities planned. So Wednesday just works a little better for me. So for the foreseeable future, we're doing what sold videos on Wednesday, sourcing videos on Sunday. Hope you guys understand. I think you do. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Back to the video. So here's a boot bolo or a bolo boot, whatever you want to call it. These are Rosearch jungle boots. If you ever see these green and black boots, flip them over, look for this circle logo on the bottom. It says Rosearch. They're probably worth picking up. Paid $10 for these, I believe, at the Peaches to the Beaches, and I've had them longer than I normally do. And I think that's probably due to the size. They're 8.5s for a little bit smaller size, but I think I paid $10 for them, and they just sold for $58. I'm not really sure why, but these things don't sell as fast as they used to. They used to sell like almost immediately, but this is a vintage LL Bean boat and tote bag. Picked it up from a garage sale for I think $2, and it finally sold after like 3 or 4 months for $40. Picked up an N64, kind of like a bundle not long ago at a garage sale. Paid $15 for everything. Sold the case that it was in for like $70. Sold the system for $80. And then this controller just sold for $18. I don't pick up these Sony CD players as much as I used to. They seem to have slowed down and don't sell for as much. But apparently my wife is smarter than I am. She picked this one up from a garage sale for $1. And it sold in like 2 days after I listed it for $29.99. So I'm definitely going to be on the lookout again for these Sony Discmans. So this is definitely a hat that I've had for a while. It's a vintage Firestone racing hat. It does have the like IndyCar on the back, which is kind of cool, but I'm sure I paid like $1 for it at Goodwill, and it finally sold for $17. Apparently there was a movie in 1990 starring Don Johnson called The Hot Spot.
You know you robbed the bank. We know you robbed the bank. That makes it unanimous. Maddox.
I didn't know that when I picked up this t-shirt. I just thought it looked cool. It was only $1.50 at Goodwill. Got home, ran comps on it, and they weren't going for that much money, but I discovered a new movie called The Hot Spot starring Don Johnson from 1990. Paid $1.50 for the shirt, and it sold for $18 after like 3 or 4 months. So I gotta be honest, one of my biggest weaknesses as a reseller is I don't really know video games. I'm not a gamer, unless it's Mario Kart. I play a mean Mario Kart, but I don't know which games are valuable. Like, there's so many different ones and so many different variants that I can't keep up. But I'll pick them up if they're cheap enough. Went to a garage sale last weekend, paid $11 for 11 games, and I've sold a few. Nothing great, but I've sold a few. Here they are. Got Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for Xbox One, sold for $13.50. Got Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic for the original Xbox, sold for $9.98. And here's Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Standard Edition, whatever that means. It sold for $13.99. Sold a Switch game, and this actually might be the first time that I've found one at a garage sale that was reasonably priced. Paid $5 a piece for 3 different games, and this is the first one that sold. This is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, and I have no idea what any of that means, but paid $5 for it, and it sold for $39 in a day. This is a soccer jersey from somewhere. I'm not really sure. I'll throw a big picture on the screen. Maybe you guys can figure it out. I don't know. I just always pick up soccer jerseys when I find them. Found this one for, I think, $4.75 at Goodwill, and it sold after a couple of months for $36.50. So I originally bought this shirt for me because I really like it, but unfortunately it didn't quite fit. It's a vintage LL Bean made in the USA t-shirt. It's got a guy on a canoe, like in the sunset or sunrise. Not really sure. Paid $2 for it from a garage sale, and it sold after 3 or 4 months for $25. This is one of those weird older golf clubs that always sells, and they're really easy to spot. They've got a coin mounted in the middle there. This is a Bobby Jones Jesse Ortiz hybrid. This is a 25-degree hybrid. They make several different degrees, and they all sell pretty well. Paid $2 for this one, and it sold for $32 in about a week. Typically, it would sell for a little bit more, but this one's got a messed up grip, like it's split down the middle, and looks like somebody put some caulking on it. So I put all that in the description, and it still sold. So this brand is really going downhill. Robert Graham, you could pick up his shirt at Goodwill for like $3 or $4 and sell it for $60 or $70, no problem. Well, not anymore. I don't pick them up very often unless they're a bigger size or like a crazy pattern. There are some that are collectible that sell in the hundreds, but this one is just a kind of a plain blue and white stripe. It is a 3XL. Paid $4.75 for it at Goodwill, and it sold after a couple of weeks for $30. So I kind of took a flyer on this polo shirt when I found it at a local thrift store. Paid $4 for it. It's a Montauk Tackle Company shirt. It is new with tags, but it does have the Penn Reels logo on it. Not really sure whether that hurt or helped the value. In my opinion, it helps because it's a pretty popular brand. But I paid $4 for the shirt, and it sold after a couple of weeks for $31.50. So I came home from garage sailing like 2 weeks ago, and it was kind of a lackluster day. Didn't really find much. And I get home, and my wife says, well, hey, I went down the street and got you this stuff. Yeah, it was a pile of Lululemon that she paid $20 for. And this pair of mid-rise shorts actually just sold for $30. So she did pretty good. Sold a Numo Pro, and I'm not really sure exactly what this is other than it's some kind of flute teaching tool.
This little contraption here has a series of coloured fans on it which you can blow. So if you think of the basic principle of combining air direction and air speed, in your flute playing, this does it all. Look at how fast I can make the fan spin. And how I can change that to slow as well.
Not really sure. They only wanted $2 for it at a thrift store, and I looked it up and looked like it was selling pretty well. Sure enough, after like 3 weeks, it sold for $31.50. Soccer jerseys. I keep talking about them because I keep finding them and they keep selling. This is an Adidas Dry Fit 2013-2014 Venezuelan home jersey. Paid $2 for it at a garage sale this past weekend, and it's already sold for $34.50. So you guys can go ahead and roast me in the comments that I probably sold this too cheap, and you're probably right. But this is an older American Girl doll. I think her name's Samantha. She's made by a Pleasant company. It's written on the back here. Picked this up at Salvation Army for $4.99. Couldn't find really any comps anywhere, especially with this outfit. And she's not the rare one with the white body. So I decided to throw it up for auction and let the experts fight it out. Well, they didn't do much fighting. She sold after about 7 days for $36.50. Sold a Marine radio. This is actually the second one of these that I've sold. It's the Nautico 1 by Midland. Picked up 2 of these from the Peaches to Beaches garage sale. Paid $5 for both of them with the intention of actually using them, but the batteries didn't hold charge and we didn't have any batteries to go with them. Also, not only does the battery not hold charge, the antenna is kind of messed up, and this thing still sold for $42. These Titleist hats are pretty darn consistent. They're always going to sell if you find them in good condition. Picked up 3 or 4 of them from a garage sale for $1 a piece, and this yellow one just sold for $19.95. Sold a pair of Solomon trail running shoes. Definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. Typically when I find these, they're pretty much trash. They've been used for their intended purpose, running through trails. They're usually covered in clay and mud. And this is definitely one of the cleaner pairs that I've ever found. Paid $6.99 from the Salvation Army. They sold for $35. Would have been nice if they were a newer pair. These are from 2015, but like I said, they still sold for $35. Almost forgot about those Aurora slot cars. The guy finally messaged me back. I definitely destroyed one of his cars. We ended up on a compromise. I gave him back $45, which is about a third of the price of the 3 cars. He's happy. I'm not real happy, but it was certainly my fault. But 3 into 100, still pretty good. It's all part of doing business, I guess.